Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Davis County Board of Education. Special proposed school closure public hearing for Zela Elementary. And this time I'll take the roll call for the board members. I am Chip Ryan and I'm here. Mr. Ferguson. Here. Mr. Moose. Here. Mr. Berry. Here. Mr. Green. Here. This time we'll stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Announcement of public hearing procedures. All public participants speaking before the Nicholas County Board of Education will have up to 3 minutes to share their thoughts. No member of the public may present more than once. Individuals may not assign or relinquish their allotted time to another individual. The Nicholas County Board of Education is required to follow the Sunshine Law and may not discuss or answer questions. Therefore, no decisions will be made at tonight's meeting.
Mr. President, make sure this works. Mr. President, thank you. Folks in the audience, my name is Jason Long. I have served as counsel for the school system since Mr. Superintendent Beam had been superintendent. I've known Mr. Beam for a number of years. One of the things that my role is to help facilitate tonight, to make sure tonight is properly conducted, that all of the steps are appropriately followed in accordance with state policy 6204. I know that doesn't mean anything to you, but there's a state policy we have to follow, as well as a West Virginia code section. As part of the process, anytime a school is being recommended for closure, and unfortunately Zela is being recommended for closure, the school system has to present a number of documents, data, and impact statements, things of that nature in advance of tonight's meeting. That process has occurred whereby that data has been prepared, published, and made available at the board office, at the school, and other locations. Also, as part of the process, there has to be public hearings. Tonight is a public hearing that's required to take place to whereby members of the public, that being you all, have an opportunity to come and speak and address so that the board members can hear you. We did this earlier in the evening at Birch River, and one of the things I wanted to make clear is that the fact that the board members are here, they're here as listeners. The fact that they're not engaging in any sort of conversation and discussion at this point is because the purpose of tonight is for the board to be listeners. This is the first opportunity they're going to have to hear from you. There's not been any sort of behind the scenes closed door meetings with the board asking the board if they will support any closure or otherwise. That's not how the process works. You know, discussions, deliberations, things of that nature are in open. And I know these 5 board members have an expectation of openness to the community, and we want to make sure that we comply with those expectations. What we're going to do tonight is those who have signed up are going to be called in order. Those will be given an opportunity to speak for 3 minutes. I understand that 3 minutes seems like a minimal amount of time. If you go beyond 3 minutes, 4 minutes, we understand that. But if we go well beyond that, respectfully, we may have to indicate that the time has been exceeded. The board's not going to make a decision this evening. That's not what tonight's purpose is. The board will eventually convene in a regular meeting or special meeting, or regular meetings and or special meetings in the future to have discussion among themselves along with administration on the recommendations that come before them. And again, the reason we're here tonight is the recommendation that will be made to the board in the future. about the potential or the closure of this school, whereby the students who are impacted would be anticipated to attend Somersville Elementary School and then eventually the new academic complex. I believe that before we get started, building administration, the principal would like to address the folks who are here tonight. And one of the things that I told the folks at Birch River that I appreciated was the respect and decorum that was displayed among those who spoke. And I believe it cut out on me here. I'll use this. So when you come and address the board tonight, if you would, come up to the podium and speak. When you speak, make sure you speak into the microphone, because as part of this process as well, a court reporter has to be present. We have a court reporter present whereby everything that is discussed tonight will be transcribed. And what eventually occurs is if the board does vote in support of the closure, and again, they're not doing that tonight, whether they do that or not will be up to these folks in the future. But that transcript will eventually be provided to the State Board of Education, who would have to affirm anything that the board does as it relates to a closure. I would ask Mr. Marsh, if you would, I know you'd like to address the folks in the room, and then we begin the process of allowing individuals to speak. When you do speak tonight, if you have a statement, or if you don't want to speak and you have a statement, we will take those statements. We will make sure that every board member gets a copy of that statement. If you want a copy of it sent back to you, we'll make sure you get that. If you come and speak and read from the statement, you want us to have a copy, we will do that as well to make sure that these 5 board members have that, as well as anything you'd like to produce to them. Mr. Marsh?
Good evening. I would like to welcome everybody to Zela Elementary. I know most of you know who I am, but for those that do not, my name is James Marsh. I'm principal of Zela Elementary School. This is my 8th year at Zela. I'm sure most of you have seen me on the television, possibly in the last couple of years, talking about running from a bear or bears, and that it's been quite an adventure with that, and the kids have enjoyed all the attention. I would like to call your attention to the huge bear mural up on the wall. That was new for this year, and that was done by my wife Shauna, who is in the crowd. Shauna, if you'll wave, please. It took her 4 days, and that was hand painted as well. So thank you, Shauna. I am pleased to see this turnout here tonight, and knowing this community, I knew many would turn out to support your school. This school is also special to me. There's a dedication plaque when you walk in on the left-hand side of the entrance, and the plaque credits all those that were involved in the construction of this school back in 1976. At the top, it lists the superintendent of Nicholas County Schools, Clyde Marsh. He was my grandfather, and he had this school commissioned to be built over 40 years ago. He spent his entire career in education. So as you can see, this school is also special to me, as it is you. Everywhere I go, I meet good people that have been through this school, Zela Elementary, who have fond memories of their childhood and received a quality, a good education at this school. I do know that decisions to close schools are not easy. We know that schools are often the hub of the community. In many rural areas in West Virginia, we witness the declining population, along with a current trend for many parents to homeschool their children. At school, I tell your kids, your children, that character can be determined by the decisions and the choices we make. And especially when nobody is watching. The Board of Education members and your superintendent, I have found them to all be men of honor and integrity. This is no easy task to ensure the financial stability of the school system, and it is their responsibility to do so. At Zela Elementary, we teach our kids 3 expectations. And if you're a parent and you'll ask your child, I'm betting they'll tell you what they are. Be safe, be respectful, and be responsible. I would ask as your principal that as you participate tonight, that you would keep these same expectations. Again, thank you for coming out to show your support for your school and your community. I have tremendous respect for that. God bless this school, this community, this county, and this country. Thank you.
I indicated we will call folks in order of their signing up, but if there are any parents or guardians that need to speak in advance, and if you've got children here and you've got other extracurricular activities, we can put you in priority, knowing that the fact that you may leave early is not indicative of you're not having a deep compassion and care for the school. Anyone in particular need to preference? Absent that, the first speaker will be Melissa Stover.
Hello, my name is Melissa Stover. I am a lifelong citizen of Nichols County, a registered voter, and a mother of a second grader here at Zela Elementary. I would like to welcome and thank the Nichols County Board of Education, the Zela students, parents, and personnel, along with our fellow community members for coming together to discuss the proposed closure of Zela Elementary and the consolidation of our students into the current Summersville Elementary School. While I appreciate the board's difficult job of trying to manage a budget and provide a safe and healthy learning environment for all the students of Nicholas County, I do have a problem with the proposed closure of Zela Elementary and consolidating our students along with the Birch River Elementary students to the current Summersville Elementary. I may not like the proposal of closing our school, but I do understand that it may be a financial burden on the budget related to our decreased enrollment, which is evident throughout our state. However, I cannot accept the fact that you plan to move our children into an unhealthy and less safe learning environment. May I remind and applaud you all for the second goal you have stated with the Nicholas County school system, which is to provide a safe and healthy learning environment that promotes citizenship, wellness, self-discipline, personal responsibility, and character, which is stated on page 10 of your impact statement. Also, on page 12 of the impact statement, it states that while the closures may bring emotional challenges, they are driven by the goals of improving the health, safety, and overall educational experience for students. Now, on page 28 of the impact statement, it is stated that Summersville Elementary School will require no additions, renovations, or replacements by the county for the proposed addition of the students from Birch River and Zela Elementaries. However, I would like to now direct your attention to page 19 and 20 of that impact statement, where the building reviews of Zela and Summersville Elementary Schools are located. These are a few of the concerns I wish to address about Summersville Elementary. Number one, Summersville Elementary was constructed in 1952 with 3 additions, one in 1969, one in 1983, and the last in 1991. Compared to Zela, which was constructed in 1976 with 2 additions, one in 1990 and one in 1994. Therefore, Zela Elementary is a newer school. Secondly, Summersville Elementary, and this is quoted from your impact statement, the roof is in serious need of repair. Zela Elementary has a relatively new roof, which is still under warranty. Number three, Summersville Elementary, this is your quote. The fire alarm is outdated and needs to be replaced. I know that our fire alarm works here. I was here volunteering the other day and we had a fire alarm. Number four, Summersville Elementary, quote, the original and additions are heated with the original gas boilers and are air conditioned with window units. The air units do not bring any fresh air into the building. Therefore, I am concerned about the air quality. Are there CO2 detectors? And what are the levels with the current students present there? Also, will these levels rise with an increase of approximately 120 students brought into the school? Zela Elementary have rooftop units which are fueled by electric and propane to heat and cool our building. Number five, Summersville Elementary, quote, the plumbing is rotting and disintegrating. I have heard this has been an issue for many years, with an issue occurring as recent as last month. Stated on page 20 of the impact statement, Summersville Elementary has an estimated cost of just over $5 million, which includes roofing, floor covering, heating, cooling, ventilation, safe school entry, circulation, sprinkler system, and a new fire alarm system. But where's the cost of repairing or replacing the plumbing system? Is it even repairable? Also, is this a current estimated cost? Because the assessment is dated July the 16th, 2018 on the SBA School Improvement Cost Summary Sheet that is included in your impact statement. Why did you not use a more updated SBA inspection report? I've been told that the SBA conducted an inspection as late as 2023 for Summersville Elementary. Also, and more importantly, is Summersville Elementary a safe and healthy environment for its own students and staff? I would now like to address the following improvement needs that have been identified on page 19 of the impact statement for Zela Elementary, with an estimated cost of $1.5 million. Number one, safe school entry, which I understand the majority of the schools in Nicholas County are in need of. Number two, circulation. Zela Elementary is one of 3 schools in Nicholas County that does have a fresh air intake system. Number 3, sprinkler system, which I understand that the majority of our schools do not have. Number 4, an outdoor classroom. Zela Elementary does indeed have an outdoor classroom that's located down by our playground. I would also like to address that regarding a financial standpoint, I believe by taking 2 of these identified improvement needs off of that list for Zela Elementary, excuse me, that will also decrease the estimated cost to less than $500,000. I would also like to add that as a financial standpoint, Zela Elementary has the least financial burden of all the school assessments listed in the impact statement, and that Summersville Elementary has the highest. Therefore, with Birch River having an estimated $1.5 million cost for their recommended improvements listed in your impact statement, along with Zela's estimated costs, it appears to be less of a financial burden on the board to close Summersville Elementary School and divide and consolidate those students into Zela Elementary and Birch River Elementary. Then, according also to the data on page 18 of your impact statement, this would not require waivers, as I understand, for transportation costs, with a distance of 7.5 miles from Summersville Elementary to Zela Elementary, and a distance of 18.7 miles from Summersville Elementary to Birch River Elementary. Once again, I appreciate the board's difficult job of trying to manage a budget and provide a safe learning environment for all our students. However, I believe there are safer and more economical solutions to be found than consolidating Birch River and Zela Elementary into the current Summersville Elementary School. Therefore, I am asking you to find a solution that will outlast your terms as board members and enrich the future lives of our children's education. Thank you very much.
Michaela Evans.
My name is Michaela Evans, and I'm a registered voter in our community. I'm also a mother of a first grader at Zela Elementary and was a graduate of Birch River Elementary. I'm here tonight to speak about the importance of rural elementary schools and why they should remain open. These schools are more than just buildings, they're the heart of our communities, offering stability and personalized education that larger schools often cannot offer. Many of our students come from difficult home lives and our dedicated teachers, along with parent volunteers, provide not only education, but vital support and resources to those in need in our community. Smaller class sizes allow for more individualized attention, which helps our children grow both academically and emotionally. Consolidating schools would overcrowd classrooms and increase bus ride times, making it harder for our kids to thrive. Long bus rides are especially tough on young children. Spending over an hour on a bus every day means less time for play, study, and family. It also limits parent-child time, which is key for supporting a child's development. If it wasn't acceptable for Richwood Middle School and high school students to endure long bus rides across the mountain, why should elementary school students be subjected to the same? Young children are even more vulnerable to the stress of the long commutes. While I understand financial concerns, consolidation is not the only option. Instead of closing Zela, why not consider Mount Nebo? It's one of the oldest schools in our county and is located between two other schools, and our schools in better condition. It would also help avoid overcrowding and ensure our children are not subjected to schools with deteriorating sewer systems or poor air quality such as Summersville. One thing to consider is that consolidating rural schools is actually pushing more parents to seek alternatives like homeschooling, the Hope Scholarship, or even some moving to different counties for better educational opportunities. This consolidation will not save you the money that you think it will. It will only drive families away, hurting our local community even more. Closing rural schools hurts not only students, but the entire community surrounding them. It damages local businesses, neighborhoods, and the fabric of our county. Our children are the future, and they deserve better than to be treated as just numbers on a budget. As a registered voter, I want to remind you that my decision to support your future levies and those in position of leadership is going to be determined by how well you work in the best interest of our children, and I plan to advocate with what your decision follows. As we as parents also continue to be in contact with the state board already regarding this issue and plan to continue to see it through. I urge you to think creatively and work together to find solutions to keep our rural schools open. Let's ensure every child has the opportunity to thrive here in their own community in a healthy, safe school. Thank you.
Amy Young.
Good evening. I'm a pretty emotional person, so bear with me. My name is Amy Young. First and foremost, I'm a Christian. I try to live my life with integrity and always stand for what is right. So here I am today as someone that doesn't like to speak, standing for what is right. I'm also a registered voter, a resident of Nicholas County for my entire life, a parent of 2 children that attend Zela Elementary. This evening, I beg of you to reconsider your proposal to close Zela Elementary. I could go on and tell you how wonderful our school is and the staff, but I'd run out of time and not get to focus on the topic at hand. We, as Nicholas County residents, need our school. My kids already ride the bus in the evening for about 55 minutes, and that's only to Swiss. There are other students further down that already ride the bus well over an hour every day. By pushing the kids onto Summersville Elementary, which would add another 10 to 15 minutes, and then an additional 10 to 15 minutes in a couple years to Glade Creek School, that would make my kids be on the bus for at least an hour and 15 to 20 minutes, maybe more, and the kids further down in the county over an hour and a half on a bus, one way. As you can see, the times in the impact statement aren't correct. My kids are already exceeding those times. That is why it's way too much time on a bus for elementary school students and will lead to more bus behavior problems and distracted bus drivers. West Virginia Code 18-2E-5D recommends the duration of one-way transportation times for elementary schools to not be over 30 minutes. And if it exceeds 15 minutes over that recommended time, the county must obtain written permission from the state to extend the bus route. West Virginia codes were made for a reason. Although I do realize waivers are able to be obtained in some instances, do you think that doubling and tripling a recommended state of West Virginia code bus time recommendation is in the best interest of our children? Also, sending our Zela Elementary School students to Summersville Elementary for at least 2 years, which is in worse condition and in much more need of repairs than our school, seems irrational. I don't know the best way to solve the financial aspect of the proposal, but I know that there's a way, other than closing our school. Zela Elementary is in good condition and in need of far less repairs than multiple other schools in the county. Maybe we could have Zela K-8 to increase enrollment. Like I said, I don't know that answer. I just know that closing our school here at Zela Elementary isn't the answer. Our children are worth more than those dollars for repairs and upgrades. My children thrive here at Zela Elementary. And I know that that could not be the case in a bigger crowd, in a crowded school classroom. I feel this proposal has left the main thing out of the equation, and that's our kids. So I ask you today, why did you go into education? I'm sure your answer is the kids. So I ask you this evening to examine yourselves, examine your heart, and examine your proposal to close the school. And please make the right decision for our kids and our community and keep our school here at Zela Elementary open. I thank you for your time and you have a good evening. Sorry. Yeah. I have to all like this burden. Thank you.
Arnold Nicholas.
Good evening. My name is Arnold Nichols. I'm a registered voter in Nichols County. Been a resident all my life. Lived in Whitewater for the last 50-some years. Due to circumstances beyond my control, I got acquainted with these grade school a long time ago. My parents passed. My wife and I took some of my siblings, and later some of hers, and we sent them to Zela Elementary. My wife, Sandy, she attended Zela Elementary. Our children went all of their grade school years, Zela Elementary. I've had 2 grandchildren come through Zela Elementary. We read the study, and I did read it and went over it, and there were some things stuck out, and they've been brought out to a great degree. I really commend Mrs. Stover back there for her preciseness. I've dealt with Mr. Beam in the past, been acquainted with him. Some of you on the board I know, some of you I don't. But the thing that stands out is we're in a day when we talk one thing, but we do something else. The school board You read and you hear it's all about the students. But is it? When you look around and you look at the things, up in town, there's a store. It's called More for Less. But when it comes to our school system and whatever, we're kind of in a situation where it's less for more. We just got done renewing the school levy. We've got a superintendent of schools, Mr. Bean. He makes a very good salary, I think. We've got less schools in the county than was here when he was here before, but now he's back in our county as superintendent. But he's also got an assistant superintendent that draws a mighty pleasing salary, in my opinion. That could be, $100,000 a year saving that could go toward keeping these schools open, like Zela. When you look at my tax receipts, matter of fact, I want them sitting so I could have it proper. The county share of my taxes to the school, no excess levy, $578.29. The excess levy brings into the school system another $451.31. So we keep getting more. We need more. But we keep shutting down schools in these communities. The teacher ratio goes up. I'm 71 years old, soon to be 72. I attended Summersville Grade School when I started the school. You do the math. Summersville School is 26 years old, older than Zela. Upgrades, they've been done, but I know that there's been sewer problems at Summersville Grade School. I know that there's air quality, and whoever done the report for this school closure, in my humble opinion, needs a glass belly button. That's nice as I know how to put it. Because the things that's in that report that don't even match. They didn't even know in the report who supplies water for this school. They listed Wilderness, not Wilderness, Scalding. It says the water source is above average. The electrical service for Zela is above average. Summersville is average. The roof, they listed it, as average. Inventory records and hardware, yeah, average. Overall technology infrastructure condition for Zela, above average. Network administration, above average. It's, when you look at the age, when you look at the different things that were overlooked or recorded wrong, it makes you wonder. Bus times, you've done heard the lady, you don't have to do much driving down to the lower end of this bus route to find that, I don't know who gives the waivers for bus times, but they don't do a very good job of looking at how much time they're given. This school wasn't even slated, if I understand the report, and if I'm wrong, you can tell me after this, because I know due to the sunshine law, you don't respond. But this school wasn't even supposed to be closed when the new school, even Glade Creek was put on the map. It was still supposed to be here. But you're wanting to take kids, and again, the school board says that the children are in their best interest. So we want to uproot them for the next school year and send them to Summersville for 2 years, then turn around and uproot them again and send them on up to Glade Creek. And all we're doing for the kids on the lower end of the county is increasing the bus times, increasing the exposures. So, as I've looked at it, and like I say, I tried to look at the report, I tried to look at it objectively, and everywhere you look and everything you hear, even in the other county, it's all money, dollars, coming down to monies and dollars. But they don't add up when you look at what you're trying to do to this school, the condition of this school, the location of this school. Your figures just won't add up. You know, I heard what the council said earlier, that there's been no decisions made and all like that, but yet, when you look at the procedure that we've cut, you know, that this process is going through, there's already been lots of steps that have been done and mandated by your process that leans toward a decision being made before we ever get to present, before we ever get to say. Am I saying there's a decision already made? No, I'm not saying that. But in closing, I don't know how much time I've used, but there are other folks that want to speak, and the ladies that spoke before me have done a mighty good job, I think, of covering things. But the thing that I'd recommend to the parents, if they're going to, if the board is bound to determine that, we're going to send, our children to Summerville, grandchildren, Summerville, whatever, I would encourage everybody that's got a child that goes to school here, and if they get sent to Summerville, even just if you just go to the report that you have opportunity to read, I recommend you find a good pediatrician for your children. And just like the school board retained this gentleman here for their counsel, find your counsel to retain. Because if a child's got a respiratory disease and you're taking him out of a school that's got a fresh air system and is better for his health and whatever, and you're going to send him up there to a school that's enclosed and where the toxins and whatever build up, and you're going to increase the amount of those things, then it's parents' responsibility to protect their children. Thank you.
Emily Neal.
Hello, everyone. My name is Emily Neal. I'm a registered voter who lives in Nicholas County in my hometown of Birch River. I decided to speak at both Zela and Birch River meetings this evening because I feel compelled to support both schools for the students and the community. I'm also a home health nurse that travels all over Nicholas County taking care of people and their families. I am familiar with the whole area of Nicholas County as I spend my days exploring the county, and I'm familiar with travel times between schools. I want to take some time to talk about the children that live in the Dixie, Belva, Swift, and 20-mile areas. My oldest daughter was once a student at Dixie Elementary. My family lived in 20 Mile when my daughter became ready to start school. She attended pre-K through third grade there. While she was in third grade, the closure talks began. Dixie Elementary was a remarkable small school, just like Zela and Birch River. It was a favorite amongst teachers who came, went, and visited. The kids loved their school. Then it was gone forever. Dixie students had several school options to transfer to. Not all in Nicholas County, but many at the time. Golly Ridge, now closed. Blythesmore, closed. Valley and Smithers, closed. Zela, potentially closed. I always thought Zela would be safe from closure, if anything, for those Dixie kids. I packed my kids up and I moved back home to Birch River for many reasons, such as my kids having a consistent and small school to attend that was close to home. Now, when I have patients to visit in the Dixie area traveling from Summersville, I know I'm going to have a long and tiring day traveling the curvy, dangerous road, Route 39. I cannot imagine how hard that commute will be for small young children twice a day, 5 days a week. The students in Nicholas County has one stressful situation after another within the past 10 years. The flood and the loss of their schools, the situation with COVID and remote learning, now possibly the schools that they love and are familiar with is closing. It is unnecessary stress at this time. The children need consistency If the closures take place, this year's fourth grade class will potentially change schools 4 times within 3 to 5 years. That is too much and unacceptable. Please consider keeping these schools open. As I travel for my job, I hear about school closings throughout the state every day on the radio. Nicholas County should be an exception to this. Our children have been waiting 10 years for new schools. Why would this county board want to take 2 more away from them at this time? Thank you for this opportunity to express my concern.
Beverly Collins.
Good evening. My name is Beverly Collins, and I am also a registered voter in Nicholas County. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of the students, parents, and staff of Zela Elementary. I attended Zela Elementary from first through part of fourth grade. When Madge Gilbert was principal, I was blessed with teachers like Miss Thorne, Johnson, and Miss McDaniel. The lunch ladies, Lena Brown and Rosie Morstan, knew me and my family. They taught me, they took care of me, and they loved me. I'm emotional too. And they took care of me and loved me while I was at school. I felt safe at Zela Elementary, even when I didn't feel safe at home. Zela Elementary was my community. Today, with 65 students and around 15 staff, I believe the spirit of Zela remains the same. Students feel safe here, even when they might not feel safe at home. Zela Elementary is a community where every child is known by their name. Many students are vulnerable, with approximately 25 or more having IEPs, those from Birch River as well. Adding an additional 50 or more children with IEPs to Summersville Elementary, which is already crowded, risks doing a disservice to these students. At Zela, every child benefits from the attention that comes with a small classroom, which gives them a solid foundation for middle school, high school, and beyond. We cannot afford to let even one child slip through the cracks. From my understanding, the new school complex was not initially intended for Zela students. So why the change now, other than money? I understand financial pressures, but here, money cannot be the most important factor. The students of Zela Elementary are. Our building is structurally sound, which isn't the case for Summersville Elementary. Think of the bus rides. Students from Dixie already spend close to an hour one way on the bus. Moving them to Summersville will add at least 20 more minutes, even more when the new complex is built. Imagine students being on a bus for up to 2 hours each way. That's unacceptable. Young students need rest to grow and to be ready to learn. What will happen to the staff? Some are close to retirement here at Zela. Will they lose their full-time hours with it? Their last high 5 years for retirement calculations? I implore you to reconsider the decision to close Zela Elementary School. For 65 children, this is their community. The staff not only teach them, they love them and provide a safe haven from some of the harsh realities of life. Show these children that they matter more than money. Thank you for hearing my voice for the students and staff at Zela Elementary.
Kevin Duffy.
This was a hard act to follow, especially Mr. Nichols. I like him. Got a lot of common sense. But I brought with me a quotation from Barbara Bush and a demonstrative aid for you. You can read it. At the end of your life, you will never regret not having passed one more test, not winning one more verdict, or not closing one more deal. You will regret time not spent with a husband, a friend, a child, or a parent. Or for small children, their cousins, their grandparents, the people who are close to them in the community. I know we've heard talk about the time impact study, so the board has all that information. And at the end of my presentation, or in my remarks, I'm gonna have a rhetorical query for you. I know you can't answer questions today. The landowning taxpayers against school consolidation. We already pay enough money. These community schools need to stay where they are, in my opinion. And I am definitely a registered voter. Zela is a kindergarten through fifth grade school. These children come here from kindergarten to fifth grade for 6 years. From Zela to Summersville, one way is 7.5 miles. I think that's been confirmed even, that's my measurement. That's a 15-mile round trip. 15 miles, if we go 30 miles per hour, that's about what I drove down here in the dark, in the rain today, because there's no fog line, there's no center line, you can see most of the way. That's 30 minutes for 15 miles. A school year is 180 days for students. 180 times 6 years is 1,080 days. 1,080 days times that 30 minutes extra that these kids are gonna have to do on that bus is 32,400 minutes. 540 hours. Or 22.5 days of sitting on a bus between here and Summersville and back. Those are 22.5 days they can never get back. These are children of tender years. They could be playing with their friends. I don't know if kids still do it. I certainly, you could be down in the creek catching crawdads. Be spending time at your grandma's house. Be doing a lot of things, but you can never get that time back. Now, we've talked about time impact studies. Mr. B here and his council, and I know several of the board members, you're all well-educated, very intelligent folks. Certainly, you've considered the amount of time these children are going to lose between age 5 and 10, riding that school bus from this perfectly good school up to Summersville and back. 22.5 days out of their life, gone. I defy anyone in this audience to tell me that they would voluntarily give up 22.5 days of their life to ride a school bus, a subway, or anything else. Not one of you would. In closing, I just hadn't thought about this, and I know there are funding issues. People have money problems and things like that. School boards are no different. But notwithstanding that state of West Virginia claims it has a budget surplus, there's school funding formula that's been in place for, since at least one of those old Supreme Court decisions. But we recently the legislature enacted the municipal sales and use tax for municipalities. Now, the town of Summersville collects 1% above the 6% state sales tax. Every time you go up to Walmart, Summersville gets 1%. You spend $1, they get a penny. There's absolutely nothing that says the school board and the members of the public can't go lobby the state legislature when it comes into session and say, well, in some counties where we may have difficulties school funding wise, or we have decreased enrollment, we would like to enact a county-wide sales and use tax. You got a Dollar General store right down here. You got a bunch of Go Marts all over the place that are outside the municipality of Summersville. They can be taxed also. That way you don't have to rely all the time on an excess levy. You might need it. You don't have Mr. Arnold here paying $500 in one and you want to pay $450 in another. That's almost $1,000 for the guy. He's retired at 71 years old. That's no way to run a school system. You can spread this tax much more evenly across the population. And you can stop this idea of making these school children from Zela spend 22 days of their childhood riding in a bus. I have nothing else to add. Thank you.
Ashley Cumberledge.
Hello, my name is Ashley Cumberledge. I have two kids. I have a second grader and a third grader. I went to Zela Elementary all through school. That's why I've sent my kids here, at an IEP, so I know what it's like to struggle as a kid. And I have a daughter who struggles as well. Today, I'm here to share why a smaller school like Zela are better for children who may benefit from personalized education plans. As a parent of a child in a school, I understand how important it is for our kids to get the support they need. In smaller schools like Zela, teachers may pay more attention to each student for each student. They can help connect to the kids. It's very important teachers can learn about each student's strengths and challenges and adjust their teaching to meet their needs. Zela also creates a close community to help students feel safe and included. For children who may benefit from personalized education plans, feeling secure and growing and more confident, a smaller school setting can reduce their struggles and help them not get distracted and focus more on learning and being able to provide the education they need. Additionally, Zela encourages teamwork among teachers, parents, and supporting staff. They can work together better to ensure that each student can get the support they need and can change their plans if necessary to help the student achieve their goals. It is essential that Zela School does not close because our students need the safe space to create their learning schools. Smaller schools like Zela provide the care and flexible environment that helps students and children benefit their education plans to thrive.
Andrea Cook.
Hello, my name is Andrea Cook. I am someone who went to Zela Elementary School, me and both of my sisters. I have a lot of really fond memories from this place. And when I walked in, it all just kind of smacked me in the face. I haven't been here for so long. But it's kind of ironic, Mr. Bean being here because he was the principal at the time that I was at school here. I just want to tell you a little bit about me and why this school really matters and why just small community schools matter. I'm a person with lived experience of addiction, and I struggled with depression and ADHD whenever I was very young. I didn't really understand what it was. Nobody really did. And as I grew up and I went to middle school or junior high at that point in time, the community support and the personal engagement just isn't there. You know, you have populations where the students definitely overpower the adults. So we know that like individual engagement is what keeps people safe. Like if somebody's exposed to drugs and has a horrible lifestyle, we can add protective factors in that person's life and we can change the trajectory. We can change the outcome in that person's life. So a lot of these kids in this community are at-risk children. They come from families of substance use disorder. They come from families of poverty. That makes these kids at risk. So Zela Elementary is a protective factor for these kids because there is one-on-one engagement. There's personalized attention and support. There's stronger relationships and a sense of belonging.
enhanced community and family engagement. Family engagement is so important in schools, and in the bigger schools, it's not there. There's reduced risk of mental health issues. There's lower rates of bullying and peer pressure. There's more academic success and engagement. There's safety and security. There's preserving the community identity. You can look around at schools that have been closed and you can see that the identity of that community is not there anymore. And I absolutely do not want to see Zela and this community to lose their identity. There could be more cost-effective resource allocation. And it really promotes social and emotional learning, which is something that we know that are protective factors that keep kids safe, that can change the outcome of their life. With taking these things away and closing the schools, I have a few statistics here that I would just like to read because, facts is what tells everything. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit nervous. I don't know why I talk to people all the time. But decline in student academic achievement. When you close a school like Zela Elementary, that's what happens. Drop in graduation rates. A study by the National Bureau of Economic Research in 2016 found that students who were displaced by school closures tended to perform worse academically in their new schools compared to the students who stayed in their original schools. Decreased test scores. It impacts the economy. Community loss of identity. The increase of travel and transportation, that's already been discussed. Decline in mental health and well-being. A 2017 study by the University of Chicago found that students displaced by school closures experience increased levels of stress and anxiety as they face new environment, unfamiliar peers, and greater challenges adjusting to a larger school setting. I can tell you just as a personal person from experience, whenever I transitioned from this small school to Summersville Middle School, it was an adjustment for me. It was a very difficult adjustment that sent me down a road that I don't want to see any other person go down. I don't want to see any other child go down. That's why I'm here today, because Zela Elementary is absolutely a protected factor, and we are experiencing a youth mental health crisis in our community, in our state, and in our nation. And closing this school would be a disservice to the mental health stability of our kids in this community. Thank you.
Look at another calling.
Good evening. I am Delegate Heather Tully. I live in Summersville, West Virginia. I represent the area that Zela and Birch River are housed in Nicholas County for a little while longer at least. And I spoke at the Birch River hearing, so I'm not going to belabor the point and read everything that I spoke about there, but I am going to summarize it. Consolidation of middle and high school students can offer some significant advantages in terms of resources, program diversity, and social interactions. In contrast, consolidation of elementary schools raises concerns about a student's sense of belonging, support, and individualized education plans. I looked up some statistical data yesterday while I was preparing to speak. Birch River, Glade Creek, Summersville Elementary, and Zela would have a total of 574 students. That is enormous for an elementary school. So if you look at the plans that has been put forth from the Board of Education, adding 129 students into a building at Summersville Elementary that was built in 1952, obviously in serious need of repair because everybody else read the same thing that I did, It makes no sense. Summersville Elementary built 1952 with 55% utilization. Zela built in 1978, 32% utilization. Don't we want our kids to be able to spread out, to have some room to learn? I certainly would. And we're closing these schools apparently at the end of 2025, not even when the new school's built. We're gonna cram them into a building that we already know has problems. It makes no sense. I want to take you back to the 2020 the school levy. A minimum of $25,000 was allocated to all schools for improvements or repairs, and that included Zela and Birch River. Fast forward to September 2023, when the reconfiguration plan was proposed, there were three options that came about. One of those options did include Birch River. However, that option was not chosen. There was never a mention of Zela in that plan. So fast forward to May 2024, the levy that we just passed was rewritten, pulling out all of the earmark for the funding for the elementary schools. Wonder what was going on there. You know, I think the taxpayers probably kind of got hoodwinked with that. We probably didn't pay attention. Go back to November 2015, there was a CEFP amendment done. That was the amendment that closed Dixie and sent those children here. You know, it always seems like when we have a Eastern Nicholas County dominated board, we're willing to cannibalize these elementary schools at the cost of not consolidating the middle and high schools. And I think that that's an extreme disservice. There is a statement. Let me go in with this. My husband and I have 4 grandchildren. They live in Mount Nebo, or we have 5 actually live in Mount Nebo, but the 4 that I'm talking about. The 2 of them are middle schoolers. They go to Summersville Middle. So it's about a 14-mile bus ride to Old Nicholas Road. You know how long they were on the bus on their first day of school? Hour and 45 minutes. By the time they got home at 5 o'clock. That has improved. The bus driver was new. I'll give her due consideration, but still about an hour on the bus. There is a statement. It's, dear little one, I wish 2 things, to give you roots and give you wings. Well, with this proposal being put forth by this Board of Education, they are yanking up the very roots of our most tender learners, and that by failing to consider consolidation of any of the middle or high schools, they clip the wings of our most promising students in the future. Thank you.
Roger Heights.
I think that all the good things have been said here today, because there are a lot of people always come up with a lot of good stuff. Look at the crowd back there. Just look around and see how many people here. There are a lot of people that would like to see this school and all the other schools kept open. And one reason, now I won't cover the same things they covered, because it's always been to be redundant. But these schools here, like Zela School, I'm familiar with Zela schools. I've had kids and grandkids and nieces and nephews and all kinds of people went here. I never went here myself, but I've had a lot of people did. And they produce quality people that's qualified to go into these other schools. And if you take them and just crowd them into another school now, well, they're going to be exposed to things that they shouldn't be exposed to, like bullying, and some of them become loners. They'll stay to themselves. And if you watch television at all, you'll find out what that produces. That produces mass shootings and all kinds of stuff. So there are a lot of bad things happen by consolidating your kids into, and they get a lot of one-on-one here. I know I'm familiar with this school a lot. And it prepared, I had twins here, wife and I had twins later in life. And they're in Clintonville College now. They're in the 3rd year. And I know that the training they got here helped them to go forward and identify as themselves, rather than be part of a group that can't stand up for themselves. To individualize themselves, and now they're going to go on and be productive citizens. And that's what these little schools, I'd like to see all these schools stay open, because they produce citizens that can get out and think for themselves, do things, and be a productive part of the community. And with that, that's about all I had to say, but I want to, and I commend everybody else, and thank everybody that had to come out here tonight, because, there's a lot of people here, and I'd like to have them in church sometime to talk to them there too, but anyhow, it's, the minds has been made up. I got, somebody told me, well, there's no use in going over there because their minds are made up. Well, I don't think that they should be made up. I worked out the lake for almost 37 years. And I told all my employees, I'm a supervisor out there, I said, well, don't forget who you're working for. You're working for those taxpayers out there. And we get our marching orders from them. And that's the same way we all do. And we have to listen to people that these people, every one of these people have good ideas and don't want to see this stuff happen. And we let money be a factor sometimes, but I count it as an investment in their future. If we're investing in their future right now and keeping this, spending some money on our schools and getting them upgrade the standard that they should be, but this school is in pretty good shape, I think, but that could be just an investment in their future and that'd be money well spent. That's my feeling on it. I told them after everybody spoke, I thought, well, they've done said everything I was gonna say, I want to, I owe these kids here and the community, being able to say a little something, stand up, and give my part, and everybody here can do the very same thing, but I think we're all united in, we'd like to see these schools stay. I'd like to see them all stay open because I know what they produce. They produce citizens that's able, probably all of you all went to smaller schools. But smaller schools produce people that can think on their own and they instill them because if a student here kind of falls behind, the teacher gets to have one-on-one with them or other students can come over and help them out a little bit and then bigger schools can't do that. So, I just hope and I hope that they won't talk, well, they're no use going saying anything because they've already made up their mind. I hope that, I don't think that's the case at all. We'd have to reconsider this and keep these schools, try to keep them all open. That'd be my desire. Thank you for.
Lucas. Would it be nice?
Hi, I'm Brent Lucas. And I went here about 9 years ago. So not very long. And I loved this school. I love this school. It means a lot to me. I help out still here. I could have gone to Somersville. I live in Somersville, always have. And this was a better school for me. I felt cared for. I felt loved. I felt attended to like I haven't at other schools. It felt personal. Everything my teachers taught me here was personal. It just meant a lot to be able to learn in that environment. Bullying didn't exist. There was no reason to. It was like 20 kids. What are you gonna do? But bullying is a bigger problem in Somersville Elementary. I know kids who went and were bullied and had a hard time. I can't think of a kid who had a hard time because of bullying at Zela. So I wouldn't have felt right if I didn't say something, if I didn't try to say something about this school that has meant so much to me and still means so much to me. Thank you.
Steve Nutter.
Yes, that's my phone right now. My goodness. I'm Jean Nutter and I'm not from Zela. I live over in 129. My husband graduated from what we call Zela Tech. And at our house. But this school is just, I can't say enough good things about this school. Being from Cross Lanes, it was the envy of us. And we had a joint principal that went from this school to that school to try to make it all work over the years. So I've seen a lot of changes with the Board of Education. I was a candidate this year for the House of Delegates, and the reason that I wanted to speak tonight was I started meeting with parents at bus stops, and I said, what do you think is going on with the Board of Education? And the ones at Summersville said, we do not want an influx of 100 kids in our school. And when you went down to Dixie, they would say, well, I'm sending my kids to Clay County. So we're losing kids all the way around. Parents are, just trying to figure out different options. I like to become a little bit solution oriented, but if we would just simply change some of the boundaries, like to put some extra students up near to Summersville, down in this school possibly, or across Whitewater that are going to Mount Nebo if they live up like Meadow Creek, and bring those over, maybe bring some from 129. You could disperse the kids a little bit better, I think, and maybe keep the school open that way. And if you had to close a school, it would be great to close one that wasn't impacted so much by the mountains. When you go to Birch River, you've got Powell's Mountain, which I don't want to send my 5-year-old across Powell's Mountain every day in a snowstorm to get to school, Same thing down on Little Elk Mountain. That's what the parents down there were saying to me. This community right here is growing. We have 300 new jobs coming with the electric plant that no one has mentioned. But some of those people will be over in Clay County. Some of them might be here, but if you have no school, I guarantee you they will not locate in this community. Because it's one of the number one things. It's what's kept Summersville from growing while we've had this middle school problem. I mean, you want to bring a doctor into the community and you say, but the kids are in pods. Well, I'll come when the school's finished. We cannot keep inhibiting our own growth by not building up and lifting up our communities. Our kids deserve a platinum education. That is my term that I use. And I say we have bright kids that have been failed time and time again. From the time I was 7 years old and went with my mother to hear political speeches, I heard better roads and better schools, better roads and better schools. You all are elected officials with an obligation to make that promise come true for this county. These parents are just here to reiterate time and time again these same factors that that you need to hear. There's got to be better solutions. I'm not against homeschooling. I'm not against the Hope Scholarship. I'm not against the funding of any of that because I think all those things are important. But we got to figure out a way to raise money even, or develop micro schools or some of the other things that legislative has put forward that would be another option for students. This school shouldn't close no matter whether it's a public school or not a public school at the end of this, but the Board of Education needs to step up and be part of the solution. That's really all I have to say, but thank you guys.
Present, there are no other folks signed up to present at the public hearing. I believe the superintendent would like to make a statement. And again, as I indicated before, the board's not making a decision this evening. You 5 board members will have agenda items in the future, both at regular and or special meetings, to have significant discussion about the recommendations that will be brought to you from the superintendent.
I knew tonight was gonna be difficult. No, not throwing shade at Birch River, but I don't really have a history at Birch River, but I do have a history here. And, I was principal here for 9 years, and I see an awful lot of familiar faces. Parents of kids I had, kids that I had, people I worked with. I'm so proud of Andrea, who came up and spoke tonight, that, she has really fought hard to get to where she is, and it makes me really proud to see that. And, I saw Mr. Nichols come up and speak, and two of his kids, Jeremy and Angela, was two of the best students I ever had in school. I just see a lot of faces out there that are good memories. And so I knew tonight was gonna be hard for me personally, to bring this to you and have you to listen. We're very interested in what you have to say. And, the one Jim was talking about, I think it was Roger, I'm not sure, may have said that, he didn't think that the board's made up their mind yet. They have not. I assure you they have not. And the conversations we've had both at Birch River and here, there's a lot of information there to go over and think about. We're aware of all the issues that we have at some of our other schools, and I would love to be able, which I shouldn't do, to really just talk to you about the whole situation we have, but I can't do that. But the board and I will sit down and we'll have these discussions, and we'll try to make the best decision we can. But I appreciate the way that you handled yourself, the passion you spoke with about your school and your community. I think that's admirable. I'd be disappointed if you didn't. And these are hard decisions, and I know people don't like to talk about money and that kind of stuff. I get it. But we have to be stewards of the county's money and make the best decisions we can. And sometimes that's making really hard decisions, but sometimes it's like you all suggested, taking a look at other options and see if there's anything else we can possibly do. That's what the board is elected to make those decisions on. And the reason we have these public meetings, to get this input from you, to give us more things to consider. So I assure you, no matter what the decision is, I assure you all that the things that you have shared with us will be considered. And I thank you so much for coming out this evening. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, our next meetings will be tomorrow evening at Nicholas County Board of Education, school closure hearing for Summersville Elementary School, starting at, the school closure hearing for Glade Creek Elementary School, starting at 5 o'clock at the board office. And then at 6 o'clock, we have another school consolidation hearing for Summersville Elementary at 6 o'clock at the board office. And then at 7 o'clock tomorrow evening, we have school closure hearing for Summersville Elementary. And at 8 o'clock, we have a school closure hearing for Summersville Middle School. And then our regular meeting, next meeting is on Monday, December 2nd. The meeting will be held at the Nicholas County Board of Education office. It will start at 4 o'clock. And the purpose of that meeting will be to conduct routine business and possible action on the closing or consolidation of all the schools mentioned. And at this time, I need a motion for adjournment.
Make the motion to adjourn.
Mr. Moose makes a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Berry. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? At 8:20.